Hey everybody, it's Chris and I'm back today to do another color inspired pour. This is the one that I picked out. Actually, I didn't pick it out. Jim picked this one out for today, and hopefully I've got this nice and in focus for you. I'm going to tilt this just a little bit so that we don't get the glare off of the window and the snow outside. But this is the color swatch that he picked out. Had a little bit more difficulty today in getting my colors mixed. I definitely had to play around quite a bit with getting the correct colors on this one. So I'll show you the colors that I used. Some of them are colors that were already pre-mixed, and then some of them I kind of had to mess a little bit with it. So let me switch these around in my pour. So this orangey color this is what I came up with. And this is a combination of Liquitex Basics Cadmium Orange Hue. I put a little bit of the Cadmium Red, a medium hue in it because I felt like it was kind of reddish, but then I also felt that it was kind of a little more rust as well. So I ended up putting a tad bit of burnt sienna in it as well, which is kind of a brownish red hue. And then this is mixed with my pouring medium. So that's that color. The golden color is right here. And this is actually the Soho Yellow Ochre Golden, but I felt like it was, honestly, when I got it started to mix it, it kind of looked like baby poo to me. So I thought it was a little too dark as well. So I mixed some white, titanium white, in with that as well to make it a little bit lighter. And then my center color here is a combination of some house paint that I had. So that is this color of house paint along with this color of house paint to make it a little bit darker. And then I put in some white, Artist Loft white flow acrylic to kind of brighten it up a bit. And because I find that the house paints don't really have a lot of reaction even with my pouring medium, so I did put the Artist Loft flow acrylic white, hoping that that would help to create some cells as well along with my pouring medium. I don't have any silicone mixed in any of my paints today, so I'm strictly going with just my pouring medium, which is 4 cups of Floetrol that I've strained, a cup of Elmer's Glue All, a half a cup of Liquitex pouring medium, and a 1/4 cup of water. And I did add a little bit more water to my paints that have the house paint in them because the house paint is quite thick. So I did add a little bit more water so that they would be pourable. And then my final color, let me pull this back up so you can see it, that I had to mix was this kind of turquoisey green. And it's probably still a little too much turquoise, but this is actually this color of house paint. And then I darkened it up with the Master's Touch turquoise green. I think a teal green probably would have been quite nice, but I didn't have that. So this cup of paint is the house paint and then the turquoise green to try to get it to a bit darker. And then when I lined all my paints up here at the top, hopefully you can see those, I think they look quite nice all together. And then the final color, of course, is just black, which I keep pre-mixed in my condiment bottle. I'm going to do a 3-cup flip. And this is a 12 by 16 canvas. I'm gonna move this up just a tiny bit so that I don't spill my paints. And I've got 3 7-ounce cups. I'm going for probably about 15 ounces of paint. Sometimes I think I pour way too much paint. So my goal is to get about 5 ounces in each cup. And I haven't done anything to prep my canvas. This is the Michaels Level 1 Artist Loft canvases. So it's just, I put push pins in the back to raise it up off of my surface, and other than that, I've done nothing else to prep it. So I think I have my colors. I kind of feel like I need to put the black in between the blues and the orange and the yellow, just to kind of make sure that they don't mix crazy colors on me. So I think we'll start with the turquoise. My goal is to have at least probably 2 layers of each color in the cup. Kind of depends on where we get with the 5-ounce mark that I'm going for. So I'll start with this dark turquoise green, and then I'm going to go with this lighter kind of blue-green color. And I try to kind of float my paints on top of each other, but sometimes when I'm pouring them out of a cup, they kind of tend to mix a little bit, which is okay because in the end they'll be mixed together anyway. I did put silicone spray, the WD-40 silicone spray, in the bottoms of my cups so that my paints will release. And then I'm just going to add the black in between these colors. So I've got my blues in, and then we'll do the black, and then I'm going to do the yellow ochre color that I mixed. We'll see if I can pour this in gently. Maybe if I go over the spoon or over the stick, it'll pour a little bit better. So I'm just going to do a flip cup on this painting and trying to maintain some lines in it. These are definitely not in my wheelhouse of colors, I can tell you that much right now. But Jim kind of likes the earth tone colors, so that's probably why he was kind of drawn to this one. And then this is that rusty orange color. It does look like a pretty sunset though already, so we'll see. Hopefully it's beautiful when it's all done. And we may have to do 3 layers, but we'll see. So there's our first layer, and then we'll go back in with the second layer. Actually, I think 2 layers will be just fine. I don't think I have enough paint mixed up to do 3 layers anyway, so. All right, there's that pretty turquoise green, and then we'll go in with a lighter blue green. And you'll find that as you layer your paints in, the further up the cup you get, the easier it is to layer them and not have them totally mixed together. So it does become easier the more paint you get in there. All right, so back in with some more of the black. I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot more than 5 ounces of paint in here, but we'll see. You can see some of my my cups are getting pretty full. I'm going to be kind of careful with this yellow though, because I find that sometimes the yellow can take over in a painting. So I may not be quite as generous with the yellow as what I was on the other colors. And then a final layer of this orange, and we should be ready to go. I didn't put any white in the painting. I kind of wanted to keep it just with the colors that were in the swatch. And there wasn't white in there, and I don't feel like I needed white in between the colors to keep them separated. So, all right, just gonna set my paints back here, put the top on my black. They just put a chunk on my canvas. All right, so we're gonna flip these guys over. Just kind of evenly divide them between the canvas. I think we're all good. You guys can see I was already doing some fun stuff. Okay, so I want to make sure that I kind of have my edges covered. I want to make sure my corners are going to be covered when I pull it. My center one should be good. It's already flowing a little bit over the top. I kind of feel like the orange might be taking over, so we'll see when we pull it. Hopefully that blue pops through. You can see that my paints have released off of the cups, so I'm going to go ahead and pull these. My goal is to get it down to the bottom of the canvas so that I don't have all of my paint at the top. And just going to gently pull it down and kind of let it skip a little bit. Oh, that's pretty. Look at all the cells that are there, and we didn't even use silicone in the paint. So that's pretty awesome. My goal usually is to kind of let it skip down as I'm pulling. It's okay for the bottom edge to skip. That one had a lot of paint, holy cow. Just so that I can make sure that I'm getting to the bottom of my canvas once I'm finished. So I kind of let it, pull it down. As long as you're not scraping on the canvas, like I was kind of scraped up here at the top, it's okay to pull it down. It was just the bottom edge of my cup that was actually skipping across the canvas, which is fine because the paint covered that. So that's pretty nifty, guys. Look at all the cells that I'm getting, and there's no silicone in the paint. And I'm kind of surprised that I'm getting all of those cells and those blues because of the house paint that was in there. Okay, so I can see that there's a few little bubbles. We'll see. I'm just going to blow on that. Kind of get some of those to pop a bit. I'm just kind of letting my paint kind of flow into each other as much as I can. I can see the bottom is probably going to be quite easy to cover because I'm pretty close to having the bottom covered as well already. It's quite interesting though. It's actually a pretty color combo. I think this one's going to be pretty nifty. Okay, so I think what I'll do is, I think I'm going to go up since I have so much more to cover up here rather than dump my paint off on the bottom. So just going to pick this up and I'm going to kind of go side to side because I'd like to try to keep some of those lines intact. So just going to go side to side and get my paint down there and kind of let the weight of the paint do its thing for me. Because as we get further down, it should start filling in those gaps like you can see on the left side of the painting. And then I'm just going to continue to go back and forth. And just try to take your time with this. If you tip it too quickly and you know, you're just going to dump that paint off and you're not really going to keep the prettiness of what you have going on with the cells and the colors. And so I'm just going to keep gently going back and forth. The spot on the left is filling in quite nicely. So I do want to go over on the edges if I can, and I do want to get that corner down there. So I'm going to see if I can snake that corner in real quick, and then I'll pull it back. And that filled in the other side. And then I'm going to see if I can get this corner down here. If I can't get it completely without losing it, I'm going to stop right there. And I'm just going to pick some of this up and kind of like touch the corner. And then the weight of that paint should kind of fill that corner in. Okay, so now we're going to go back down. And once again, I'm just rocking back and forth to try to stretch that paint back down so that I can get the bottom of it covered. So I'm kind of surprised, although I do see the yellow and the kind of rust color popping back out now that I've stretching it back the other way. It's very interesting, isn't it? Okay, so I've got the bottom covered. Now I want to try and go down and get this left corner. So I'm just going to kind of shake it down. And there we're going over the corner. And then I'm going to come back and see if I can get this right corner to cover a little bit more. There we go. And then I'm just going to tip it back. And I'm gently going to let that paint flow back down. The lines stayed intact pretty well. Now I just kind of want to even that paint out and get the weight of my paint evenly distributed. I apologize for the glare. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty good. Got some really neat cells, and they did stretch out a bit, which is good because it made them a little bit bigger. I'm just going to pull this up to the camera a little bit more and try to tip this so that the glare is not on it, so that you guys can see what it's done. Has some really neat reactions in the paint. I think the black is the Artist Loft Flow Acrylic as well. And it seems that the Michaels Artist Loft Flow Acrylic paints do give kind of their own reactions as well. So that kind of created some really neat webbing right here in this with the black. It turned out really neat. I kind of like it. It's definitely different than what I've done in the past. So I'm just going to go ahead and touch up the corners, and that completes. Let me take my gloves off actually, and then I'll show you what the inspiration was again. So this is the inspiration, and this is the painting. I think it's actually pretty doggone close. There's definitely a ton of blue in. I'm surprised that the yellow and the orange didn't take over a little bit more, but I do like my blue, so I'm kind of okay with that. And as it dries, I honestly think some more is going to pop through. Like, I don't believe this was here when we first stopped tipping. So I think some more of that yellow is definitely going to come up through the painting. So, all right, guys, that concludes color inspiration number 2. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks so much for watching.